How's it going, guys? Welcome back to a new video. If you're new around here, my name's Ash Masters and this is my channel, Masters Mods. So for those that have been here for a while, thank you for tuning back in. And today we are going to be fitting a new stereo because I actually want some more bass in this car. And basically I went to buy a sub and an amp for the boot. Can't have one with the standard stereo because they've got no connections on the back for them. So I had to buy a new stereo. So here is the unit I've picked up. I've already started plugging stuff in to the back of it, and I'll run through in a minute what they all do and what all sort of this business is, but it's actually quite a cool kit. So before we get onto all of that, we've got to take this one out. So this kit actually does come with a screwdriver. I'm not sure what that is for, maybe some other models, a trim removal tool. But with this one, it actually gives you the keys to remove the standard stereo. Now, when you're doing this, these keys have got like a rounded edge, but then they've got like indents on the other side. You need to make sure the indents are facing the inside of the stereo, not the outside. So when you've got your little indents facing inwards, gently slide them in and you'll feel it just sort of pop a little clip like that. And then you should have resistance on it. So then with two hands, pull them outwards, and I'll show you the back of there so you can see why we need the new one. So now that is out, you can see that we only have two kind of connections there. We've got the main power supply and for all the speakers and everything else, and then you've got the antenna for the aerial. So that doesn't allow us to have, where's it gone? These is what you need. And they are basically what will plug into the wiring harness for the amp that's going to go in the boot. So what we're going to do is go ahead and disconnect these, and then that will be the standard stereo out. Now, from knowledge, that just pulls up, lifts up like that, and pulls out, and then that just pulls out. And that is your standard unit out. The only thing I will say is, being in the Vauxhalls, you know that we need the coolant temp on the display, but obviously with that out, you can't do that. So that is probably a downside to obviously removing the standard stereo. So with that one out the way, I can tell you a little bit more about this one that I've got. Now it's a touchscreen, it's a 7-inch touchscreen, and it's got things like nav and all these other sort of cool features. So the wiring harness that I've got actually plugged in already, this one specifically, is what is going to connect on to that. So that plug is basically going to go into there. And if you have different stereos, again, I think this is just in case you have a different model or something, but you've got another harness there which also plugs into this, and then it's different basically. You've got a USB connection there, which that white plug there attaches into the back of one of those. They're all different, so you can't kind of get it wrong. We also have here a mic, which I will be installing. I shan't bore you with that because I'm going to have to try and route it down the A-pillar behind the dash, across and down there, so that'll be crap for you to see. And then this is a GPS antenna, which I do want to try and make use of, and that one is going to plug into where that little red nipple is there. It's just like a plastic cover that comes off, and then it screws on via that metal connector there, screw into it. And then, like I said earlier, this one is for the RCAs for the sub and the amp. So I got this stereo off eBay, and I will leave a link in the description in case it's something that you want to sort of get for yourself, maybe. Not a sponsored thing by any means, but it's a cool piece of kit. I like it, and yeah, I'll connect it up and talk to you a bit more about the features that are actually on screen. So because I haven't got the actual amp yet, I haven't got anywhere for these to go just yet, but I've plugged them in just because then it's there. I can stick the box out the way and I haven't got to go rooting for stuff, but that's for a bit later on in the video. This is now going to plug into that one. Like I said, we'll plug the antenna into this one, and yeah, then we'll be able to sort of slide it back and it will be well tucked away in the hole in there. Because this one as well, although there's a lot of wires and stuff, it's a lot slimmer than obviously the standard unit, so there's a lot more room for the wires to tuck in. As you can see there, I've plugged everything in that I need to for now, which pretty much just that and the aerial. Obviously I can't play what's on because of copyright and stuff, but there you can see obviously it's working. And yeah, so if we press menu, comes back to the home screen. If we click here, brings up all these obviously different things and that, and yeah, Netflix, that'd be good. You can actually watch video on there, but I think you have to play with the settings to allow it to do it when the car's moving. But yeah, all sorts of different controls and settings to go through, and it is very much like an Android unit. Like I say, you can see here the way it's set up. When the phone is connected to the stereo, it comes up with a completely different display, but I can't do that just yet because I'm using my Bluetooth mic. So I'll change that over and I'll quickly show you what that looks like. So the Bluetooth is now connected to the actual stereo itself, and here you can see obviously that's all your contacts. You've got your recents, favourites and other stuff. So if you then click on your music, it will actually cycle through whatever playlist you've got on. I use Amazon Music, so it'll cycle through all those sorts of ones. Let's turn that down. So yeah, it will cycle through obviously all those. And if you go to maps as well, that comes up too. And then obviously you can just go back to the main screen by pressing menu. That is the new stereo all installed. Now, apart from losing the coolant temp sort of setting, I'm relatively happy with it. And I think it's a good addition. Touchscreen obviously updates the look a little bit and gives you a bit more functionality with the navigation and my music and stuff like that. Obviously now I don't have to carry a load of CDs. I can just, I would say have a USB, but I don't think I've got access to songs to put on a USB, so that won't get used. But obviously if you do, then it's a feature that you can obviously have with the stereo. So what I'm going to do now is, one thing I haven't said is I've still got the GPS and the mic to install. I haven't installed that yet, simply because I've got to take the A-pillar on either side off to obviously run the wires down and behind. When I get the amp and the sub, I'm going to have to run wires from the back of the head unit, from the battery and that all up the car, so a lot of this will be taken apart anyway. So I'm just going to do it all in one go, because I don't see a point taking it apart, running the cables down, putting it all back together, and then next week when I get the sub, having to do it all again. So it'd be pointless. Do it all in one go, makes more sense. So yeah, stick around for that. See you shortly. Right guys, I've been and picked up the sub and we are ready to get it installed. We've got a lot of work to do. I won't bore you with all of that because I've got to get trims out, I've got to get the boot out, I've got to try and make a hole in the bulkhead. There is a space just down there where I can try and push the cable through for the power, but yeah, there's a lot of work ahead. I'm not looking forward to it, but I really want the base. So what I've done is I've been and picked up one from Halford because I had a voucher, and I thought I wanted a bit more bass in the car, well, some bass in the car because it hasn't got any. Although I will say that head unit I've just installed, that provides a bit more bass to the actual speakers and that than what the standard one did, so there's a little win as well. But yeah, let's get this unboxed, show you what we've got, and we'll get it installed. So this is the unit I've picked up guys, just an edge one, like I say, from Halfords. Comes with a built-in amp on the side and all the stuff ready to be wired in. So these have been around for years. People used to get these back in probably the late 90s, early 2000s. That's how long probably Halfords have had these things for, but just something for me to get the bass, and I'm pretty happy with it. So it's a 12-inch one before anybody asks. I've got to get, excuse the filthy car, but got to get all these out so I can sort of run the wires all the way back, because what I don't want to do is get anything trapped, because if you trap anything, it's going to get sliced. We don't want no sliced wires. I've got the power cable there ready to run with a fuse. So obviously that part will attach to the battery. That'll then go in to the other side of there, run it all the way back. And another thing, if you're going to be doing anything nice yourself and you're going to run the wires yourself, you've got the RCAs, the cables that obviously run from the head unit to the sub itself. Run those on the opposite side of the car to what you are running the power cable, because otherwise it can cause interference. So a little tip for you. So we are making moves. We have that poking through the bulkhead, obviously ready to be all connected up when I'm ready on that side. In there, obviously, like I said before, the glove box was out so that I could get to the grommet. And whilst that's out, I'm going to take the pillar out and run the GPS antenna that I said earlier. So that'll go down this side. And then this power cable can run under the trims to the back into the sub itself. Very important you take the fuse out, so obviously just in case any mishaps with connections and wires touching anything like that, make sure take the fuse out so that can stay safe. Also in there is the RCAs that you would have just seen, and that's just going to run under the trims. I've run it there just so that I knew that the length was going to be all right, basically, because the last thing you want to do is have an odd length after you've gone through all this work. So just checking lengths there. The rear benches, the rear bench on these do my head in. I nearly swore then. They do my head in. I think I did it actually. You pull this to obviously release the front, and then the hook's meant to sit in front of that. But I think mine had gone down behind. That's sharp, Jesus. Mine had gone down behind there, which I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to do. So it was a nightmare getting that out. But yes, that's now done. So yeah, and obviously once I've got the trim out for the RCAs on this side, I'm going to run the mic down the A-pillar on this side too. So guys, I am all done with the install. My phone battery died. It's peeing down with rain. So yeah, I do apologise for the lack of showing you what I was doing, but it was raining. I've had to put the door under the garage just to sort of get me out the rain a little bit. All the cables are run for the GPS as well, and the mic, and the sub is all installed. I would let you listen to it, but I can't because of copyright, so you just have to believe me on that one. If you see me at a show, come and have a listen. There's a bit of a bedding in period, which I didn't know before, but you've got to sort of leave it for so many hours before you can turn the bass up, so I'm going to look forward to that. One thing I will mention as well, yesterday I had my windows tinted by a company, Motive and Tints, I think they were called. I'll put the link in the description. If you can go and check them out on Instagram, I'll be really grateful, and so would they. So yeah, had limos done on the back, and we've had 70% put on the fronts. Nothing on the windscreen because that's just not my style. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.